Hear me? Perfect. Sorry, I just got stuck somewhere. Sorry for being delayed. Let's start our class. So, as you know, today we are starting a new batch on MySQL, right? So, this is our demo class. First, let me introduce about myself. I'm Divya. I have about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. I completed my master's in data science and I have experience about experience in teaching all the data science subjects like SQL, Power BI, Tableau, statistics, Python, and machine learning. Okay, with DurgaSoft, currently I'm working with MySQL and Tableau, and this is our MySQL class, right? So today I'll give you the introduction about SQL, okay, and I'll explain you what are the course content, what are all the topics we are going to cover in this course, and yeah, let's start. As you know, the course duration is of 35 days, 35 sessions I'll take Monday to Friday, the same timing, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. IST. And yesterday was our first demo. Actually, I already gave the introduction of SQL, but I hope we got some new students today as well. So let me quickly revise. Let me quickly explain what I taught yesterday, like what is SQL, what is database, and let me explain user interface of MySQL once again. And before that, if you are okay, you can just tell me about yourself. Like, are you currently working, or do you have prior knowledge on SQL? Uh, are you from IT background, something like that? Even you can unmute yourself and speak, or else you can just type in chat box.
Yeah, IT background, but not much SQL.
Okay, fine.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, myself Rajiv Raya. Ma'am, I'm from IT background.
Okay.
Ma'am, currently I am working in NHI. Ma'am, here I am using little bit of SQL, Python, ma'am, like Python for data manipulation, like data analyst job. But I want
Okay.
to transfer my full career into data analyst. So
Okay,
that's
fine.
why, ma'am, I want to learn it in deep, that how to extract data from different, how to connect, ma'am, Python with this.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. All right. So as you know, SQL is a backbone for complete IT industry, whatever domain you choose. It can be data science, data analytics, it can be full stack, even for testing, everywhere we use SQL. Right? First of all, SQL is used to communicate with the database. Basically, we will store all the data inside the database, and whenever we are working with some data, definitely we will use SQL to extract the data from the databases, right? So, first of all, as we are generating lots and lots of data nowadays, definitely we need some good management systems. We need some good systems to maintain the data, right? So, previously, like many years ago, and previously before computers came into existence, everything was man-made. They used to store all the data in the files manually, correct? We know that. And then computers came into existence and they started storing the data in the form of Excel files or text files in computers. But later on, we started generating data a lot, right? Nowadays, whatever we are doing online, everything, it can be it's SQL for data analyst, Rajib, and I can even say it is SQL developer course also. It's about all about SQL. Wherever, I mean, you can apply it everywhere, even in data analytics, even in a SQL developer, even in full stack development, everywhere you can apply. I'm teaching all the concepts starting from scratch to the very advanced concepts of SQL here. Okay, perfect. So as we are generating lots and lots of data, databases came into existence and we are started storing data inside database, right? Database is nothing but it is a collection of data where we will store all the data. Okay. And then what is SQL? We all know the full form of SQL is structure query language. And what exactly SQL will do in the sense, it is a language which is used to communicate with the database, right? Suppose I don't know whether you saw yesterday's demo or not, whether you are attending my this demo directly. But yesterday I took one example. Uh, like, let me repeat it quickly. But I guess you both are from IT industry, so no need of giving a detailed explanation of what is SQL. But generally, what will happen if we store data in any particular file? Whenever we wanted to see, usually I'll tell one a small example. That is, suppose let's consider there is one school where they are in that particular. Let me talk about any particular class, like something like 10th A section. In that class, they are maintaining the data of the students in one register, physical register. They are maintaining manually. Okay, one day, if the principal of the school wanted to analyze the students' performance, maybe let's just imagine that in this register they are maintaining students' data like student roll number, student name, student marks, and student attendance. Okay, whenever principal wanted to analyze the student performance, what he did, he called his peon and he said to his peon that go to the 10th A and bring the register. Okay, then peon understood. He went to the section. He took the register and he gave back to the principal where he can find all the data. Right? The same scenario, instead of registers, just imagine instead of a small school, it is any big university where they have thousands of students. Instead of storing the data manually, they are storing data inside database. Okay, if they are storing data inside the database, in the previous scenario, what principal did whenever he wanted to analyze the data, he called his peon and he said that go and bring the register for him, right? Definitely, while communicating, he might use some language. It can be English, Hindi, Telugu, whatever it is, but he definitely use some language to understand, to make understand peon what he want. Right. In the same way, if anyone or if in this scenario, if this principal wanted to analyze the data which is stored inside database, here he should use a language called as SQL to communicate with the database. Okay, that is what actually SQL is. SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database. If I have any requirement, if I want any particular data, to make database understand what I want, I need to write some queries inside SQL. I need to use SQL language. Okay, then only database will understand and it will throw the data for us like that. I hope I'm clear about what is SQL. And this is the definition of SQL, okay, which is used to communicate with the database. Perfect. So we have something called as before this, just a second. Let me open one file. Usually what we will do, we will just create a database first. Inside database, we'll create the tables and inside table will store the data. Okay. And every time while creating the tables, the data will be like in the form of rows and columns, right? So suppose example, as an example, I'm giving some data here. I'm just using employees table. Okay. So my table name is employees. I have 4 columns. Vertical thing is called as columns, right? And horizontal thing is called as rows. That means here I'm having 4 columns. Employee ID is 1 column, employee name is 1 column, salary is 1 column, date of joining is 1 column. And this is my first row of data and this is my second row of data. This is how we will store the data inside the table. Okay, so in Excel file, I wrote like this, but let's try to create a table in SQL. Okay, here we are using MySQL. So first of all, just now we understood that what is SQL. Then what is MySQL in the sense, maybe you already know about it, but still we have so many tools in the market, right? It is just a software, it is just a tool. Like we have Oracle SQL, we have MySQL, we have SQL Server, we have PostgreSQL, like that. We have so many tools in the market from different companies. Like Oracle's tool is Oracle SQL and MySQL. SQL Server is a tool from Microsoft. Like that, we have so many tools in the market. Anyways, SQL is a universal declared language. All the concepts, whatever we are going to learn, are of the, or will be the same. the concepts will be of SQL concepts only, but we will apply all the concepts in a different tools. Okay, so anyways, if you learn MySQL, you can apply the same logic in SQL Server or any other tools as well. No problem. The syntaxes will also be the same. Okay. And the reason why we are choosing MySQL in the sense it is an open source platform. That is, it is freely available for everyone. Because of this reason, most of the companies are preferring to use MySQL nowadays. Okay, and that is the reason we are using MySQL tool. So this is my MySQL workbench. Once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. But for now, first let me show you the user interface of MySQL, and then let's start creating our first database and first table. Okay, so once let me just close it and open it once again. You can see like this. Once we open our MySQL workbench, you can see something called as local instance. We need to click on it. And these are all the SQL files where we can write queries. Okay, to open a new SQL file, as you can see, in like any other Excel file and all, we have a menu bar here. We have a toolbar here. We have some options over there. Okay, so to open a new SQL file, we have two options. Either we can click on File and we can select New Query tab. Okay, then one more SQL file is being opened. This is a kind of editor page where we will write queries. Or else we have a shortcut also. That is in the toolbar, this icon, first icon. Okay, the first icon in the toolbar. If I'm clicking this also, I can open a new SQL file. Let's see. Just clicking on this, one more file is opened. Okay, like that. Here we will write the SQL queries. And if you can see here, you can see something called as schemas. Below schemas, whatever we can see here, this is nothing but a list of the databases available in my system. Okay, I have this many databases in my system and these are my database names. By default, whenever you install the software, you can see only one database, that is sys database. Okay, once you create any other database, that list or that database names you can see actually. Okay, and this is the information section at the bottom, this one. Whenever you select anything, you can just navigate the tables from here. Whenever you select any table, that information about that table will be we can able to find here. Okay, I'll show you in a while. And this is the output section. Once we execute any query, we can able to find output here at the bottom. Okay, and if you can see in this SQL file, we have some options, right? After writing any queries, if we wanted to save this file into our system, we can click on the save button, second option, and we can just give a name and we can save that in our folder in our systems. And if you wanted to open already saved files, you need to click on this first icon, that is folder icon. I can just select like this. We can just select any file and we can open and we can go through this files. Okay, so like that. And this is the execute button, third one. After writing any query, we need to execute to display the output, right? So this is the execute button we have here. Okay, for now these options are enough. Going forward, we will see about the remaining options. Okay, so let me just drop this. Okay, so let's create our first database. Before creating the database, let me explain some points. MySQL is case insensitive. That means we can use uppercase or lowercase, no problem. Okay, and we have something called as comments in MySQL. Like any other programming language, in SQL also we have comments. Comments is nothing but if we write whatever inside a comment, that is non-executable. Okay, so we have single line comment. And the symbol to use the single line comments are either this symbol or hash. If you can see here, I used the symbol hyphens and I wrote something here, right? That is nothing but I wrote this line inside a comment. Whatever I don't want to execute, we can write it inside comments. So here, usually in my classes, what I'll do, I'll write theory part inside comments like this. Okay, either we can use hash also, that is also considered as single line comment. And we have multi-line comment as well. Multi-line comment, like in multiple lines, if you wanted to give us comments, we can use. And the symbols for multi-line comment is hash, star, and you can write anything any lines. And to close, we need to use star and hash. Like any other programming language, here also it is same. Okay. Hash and star, star and hash. Okay. So in single line comment and multi-line comments, if while we are working, if we wanted to write any code inside comments also, if we don't want to execute, we can just keep it. Okay, so this is about the basic understanding before creating the database. Okay, so I hope you got about an idea about what is SQL, what is database, and we understood about the user interface of MySQL, right? Perfect. Now let's create our first database. Okay. So here, first of all, we have something called as syntax for everything. Syntax is nothing but you can consider them as formula, a rule. Okay. It's a kind of rule. We need to follow that syntax for each and every concept, which each and everything, whatever we do here. Okay. So the first, let's create database. And to create the database also, we have a syntax that is create database, database name. This is the syntax we need to follow. Create a database, database name. Let's see. Create database. I'm giving database name as SQL6. As this is 6 o'clock batch, I'm just giving it as SQL6. Okay. And you can see here, I want this to execute. So I didn't kept any comments before, right? Normally I wrote this. So I'll just select this line and I'll execute by clicking on the third icon here. Okay, you can see at the bottom, it got executed, one row is affected, right? And if you can see green color tick mark like this, that means it got executed successfully. And if you get any errors, first of all, you can see red color cross mark and you can see the error message also in the output section itself. Okay, now we created our first database by using the syntax create database, database name. Okay, to see this database name in this list, actually we can refresh. We need to refresh. We have refresh icon here, right? So here, this icon. So we can click on that. Then it will be refreshed. And you can see I got my SQL6 database, whichever we created now. Right, and you can see we can expand this, and after expanding by clicking on this icon, on this triangle, we have 4 sections in every database, that is tables, views, stored procedures, functions. We will learn one by one anyways, but for now we are concentrating on tables. We will learn about views and stored procedures also going forward. Okay, so this is how we will create the database. After creating the database, next let me explain about activating the database. Activating the database. Okay. So what is activating the database here in the sense? Here you can see I have so many databases in my system, right? But currently I wanted to use SQL6 database. I know that I wanted to use that particular database, but how come database, or how come how come database will know that I wanted to use this particular database? To make database understand that we are going to use this particular database, we need to activate that database. Whatever database we wanted to work, we need to first activate it, then only we need to start working on it. Okay, so to activate the database, we need to use command. The syntax will be use database name. Okay, so every time before started working on any database, first we need to activate the database and then only we need to start working. So that afterwards, whatever queries we will execute, all that queries will be executed in that particular database itself. Okay, now let's activate it. Use SQL6, right? This is our database name. So I'm just selecting, I'm executing. It got executed and you can see it got highlighted here, right? Previously it is in light color, but now it went into dark bold color. Correct? So going forward, whatever queries I'll execute, all the queries will be executed under this database only. Okay. So like that, we created our database, we activated the database, right? Now the next step is that we need to create a table, creating tables. As I said, for everything we have syntaxes. So for creating table also, we have a syntax. The syntax is like create First of all, will use create command to create the table. Okay, create is one command. Going forward in the next class, we will learn about SQL sublanguages. In that, we will learn about all the commands detailing. But here also, let me tell you, create is one of the command which we will use to create the tables. Okay, use it to create any database objects. That is database objects in the sense it can be tables, can be views, it can be stored procedure. Okay, everything, whatever we wanted to create, we will use create command only. The syntax will be different for creating views and creating store procedures. We will learn in that particular class. But for now, let's see the syntax of creating table. Okay. Syntax for creating table. So how to create it in the sense, the syntax will be create table, table name. Okay. We will use parentheses, that is brackets, and within the parentheses, we need to give the column name. For example, see in this Excel file, I used employees table name. In this, I have 4 columns like employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, right? So how many columns we wanted to use, that many columns we need to define inside the bracket. Like for example, column name 1, and for every column name, we need to define data type for its own. Okay, I'll explain you what is data type in a while. So like column name 2, data type, like that, how many we want, that many we can create. This is the syntax for creating table. Create table, table name, and within the brackets, we need to define column names and their data types. Okay, for example, create table, table name is employees. Let's create the same table. And let me give the same column names, that is employee ID, comma, employee name, salary, date of joining. Okay, I'm using 4 column names, but I need to mention data types also here, right? For each and every column name, I need to mention the data types. But first, before going forward with the create table syntax, first let's try to understand what is mean by data type. Okay, so I'll show you here in Excel file. For example, see, first of all, I'm saying that we can store data inside Excel files also. Then why databases came into existence in a sense? We have so many limitations with Excel file. We have so many problems if we are storing data in the Excel file. Going forward, we will learn about the some important limitations of Excel file and how we come up, how we solve those limitations by using databases. Okay, so out of them we have one limitation. One of the limitation of Excel file is that suppose I gave one table here, right? And here this is my salary column. Usually salary in the sense it will be in the form of numbers. But instead of numbers, if I'm just typing something, it is accepting, right? Instead of numbers here, if I'm just giving anything, it is accepting. Date of joining in the sense definitely I'm supposed to enter dates only. But instead of dates, if I'm typing anything, it is accepting, right? Anything, it is accepting. That is nothing but whatever we type here in Excel file, it will just accept. It won't throw any error that you are entering irrelevant data. You are entering wrong data. It won't say us. It won't throw us any error. Whatever data we enter, it will just accept. Right? This is one of the biggest drawback of Excel file. Whenever we are trying to store, huge volumes of data in Excel file, definitely we are humans. We can do mistakes, right? Mistakenly, if we are entering any wrong data, it will just accept, and this is one of the biggest drawback. Definitely we should, whenever we are depending on the data so much nowadays, whenever we are depending on the data, whenever we are working on the data, definitely we need to have a good systems that if we are entering any wrong data, it should warn us first. It should tell us that we are entering wrong data, correct? Then only, you know we can work on smoothly, we can maintain the data smoothly, correct? So this problem, we came up with this problem by using data types concept in databases. Okay, so basically what is data type in the sense which is used to, data type will decide what kind of value, what kind of values we can enter in any column. Okay, Actually, data types will only decide what kind of values we can enter in any column. Okay, we have many types, some types of data types, that is numeric data type. Okay. The second one is character or string data type. Third one is date time data type. Okay. If we wanted to store numbers, we will use numeric data types. If we wanted to store any textual data, we will use character or string data type. If you want to store any dates and times or simply dates, we can use date time data type. Okay, let me show you one picture quickly. You can see here, mostly we will use this data types: numeric data type, character or string data type, date time data type. Again, numeric data types divides into two types, that is int and float. Okay, int in the sense it will accept only numbers, like any number you can give inside int. But float in the sense you can give numbers as well as decimal values also. It will accept normal numbers and it will accept decimal values also. Okay, let me write. So numeric data type again divides into two types, that is int and float. Int will accept only numbers, but float will accept numbers and decimal values. Okay. And next we have character or string data type. Here also we have two, that is char and varchar. Okay. What is char? What is varchar? In which scenarios we will use char and in which scenarios we use varchar? I'll explain you in a while. Okay. But let me tell one more point here. Whenever we are defining character data, we will define size also. Okay, we will define size also. I'll explain this point also while creating employees table. Okay, we will define size also whenever we are giving textual data or character data. Next, we have date time data type. Here also we have two types. That is, one is date data type and the second one is date time data type. If I wanted to store only dates, then I'll use this date data type. If I wanted to store date along with the time, then I'll use date time data type, like that. Okay. But we have format here. We need to follow that format only to store the dates. That is the month, date. Definitely we need to use this format only. If we write first date, then month, then year, it won't accept. Okay, it will throw us error. Definitely only this format will be acceptable. And for date time, the format will be year, month, date, and then hour, minute, second. Okay, this is the format. Am I clear? Up to this point? Perfect. So these are the main data types, whatever we use. Okay. And along with this, we have even Boolean data type. Rarely we will use Boolean data type. That is nothing but it will store only true and false values, true or false. But mostly we'll work on these three data types. Now, as we understood about the data types, let's create our table. Let's define data types for this table. I'm just copying this. I'll paste it at the bottom. Now let's define the data types for all the columns. For employee ID, I wanted to store employee IDs in numbers only. So I'm just giving int as a data type, right? We know that integers are used to store the numbers, correct? So next, employee name, definitely that will be our character data. So I will use char here. As I said, in tomorrow's session, I'll explain about the difference between char and varchar. For now, I'm using char. But if you remember one point that I said, we will define size also whenever we are defining character data, right? What is that size in the sense? After writing char or varchar, what we need to do, we need to give brackets. And within the brackets, we can define the size. This is nothing but here I define the size as 10 for this employee name column. Okay, employee name column, I define size as 10. That means I'm allocating 10 bytes of memory for this employee name column. That is the meaning here. I'm allocating 10 bytes of memory for employee name column. And each byte will occupy each character. Okay, that is, as I'm allocating 10 bytes of memory, I can enter up to 10 characters only in employee name column. That is the meaning here. If I'm entering any 11 letter word, 12 letter word, it won't accept. It will throw me error. I'm allowed to enter up to 10 letters only, 10 characters only, because each byte will take one character to store. I am allocating 10 bytes only for this particular employee name column. Okay, that is a concept here. Okay, next, salary data type. Sometimes we can expect decimal values also for salary. So I'm just giving float as a data type because float will accept normal numbers also as well as decimal values also, right? Next, for date of joining, obviously date data type we will give. Correct? This is how we will create the table. Create table name, all the column names, whatever column names we want, and for each column name we need to give the corresponding data type. Okay, whatever data type we are giving here, that kind of value only we can enter. As I gave int for employee ID, I cannot enter textual data here. I need to enter number only, right? Like that. So let's create. I'm just selecting this. I'm executing. It got created successfully. Let me refresh here once, and you can see now I can able to expand this table section. If I'm expanding, I got this employees table. And if I'm selecting in the information section, you can see the details like table name, column names, and the data types, whatever we define. Correct? This is how we will create the table. Okay. And continuation in the tomorrow's class. Tomorrow is also a demo class. I'll show you how we will insert the data. We will display the data. I'll explain you about the difference between char and varchar, in which scenarios we use char and in which scenarios we use varchar. And we will start next topic, that is sub languages topic tomorrow. Tomorrow sharp 6 o'clock I'll join. Today I just got, my system got stuck for some time. That is the reason I'm late. Okay. Sorry for that. As you know, we will take 3 demo classes. Tomorrow is also a demo class. Please attend. We will continue the concepts tomorrow. But before ending the session today, let me quickly explain you the course content which we are going to cover in our course. Okay, as I said, we have 35 sessions. The complete course duration is 35 days. Like 35 sessions, Saturdays and Sundays I won't take, 35 sessions I'll take. And these are the concepts which we are going to cover. Introduction to database and SQL, limitations of Excel file, creation of database and tables, which we are done today. MySQL installation, I'll show you once we are done with demo classes. Data types in SQL. Next, tomorrow I'll start this concept, that is SQL commands or sublanguages. We have 5 types of sublanguage, and in each type we have so many commands in it. Okay, like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL are the sublanguages. Inside them, we have so many commands. We will learn all the commands. Okay, by solving the examples actually. And then next we have integrity constraints. That means we have some keys here. We have some constraints here like not null constraint, unique constraint, primary key, foreign key, default constraint, check constraint. Like that, we have so many constraints. In which scenarios we will use the constraints and how we will use them, we will discuss detailing. Okay. Up to this topic, I can say this is a very basic of SQL. So up to here, I'll explain the concepts by using simple tables like employees table, orders table, students table. Like that, I'll just take random tables and I'll explain. Once we understood up to this concepts, next our intermediary, like some advanced concepts. It's not the complete advanced, but it's up to here the basics will be done, and then our main concepts we will start. Okay, so for that concepts, the specialty of my course is that I will explain everything by using a real-time database. Okay, that is a movies database, because definitely in real time we will work with once we started working in any company, we will work with real-time database where we'll have thousands of rows, right? So in learning process only, if we work with real-time database, we will get used to it. Like it will be a kind of hands-on experience for us, right? So here we will use a movies database, which is a kind of OTT platform database. So at this point of time, after completing integrity constraints concept, I'll explain you this database. I'll show you how to restore this database into your systems. And then we will start our main concepts. Like next concept will be operators and clauses. Okay, we have so many operators like where clause. We have so many clauses like where clause, order by clause. Okay, and limit clause. Like that, everything we will learn detailedly. And we have some operators like and, or, not, in operator, between operator. Okay, and especially like operator. Like operator is used for pattern matching of the data. If you wanted to extract the data based on any specific patterns, we will use like operator. We have some wildcards in it, and I'll explain how we are going to use this like operator very detailedly. From here, every concept we will learn by solving some examples on the Maven movies, on the movies database. Okay. Next, functions. We have so many functions here. Everything we will learn very detailedly. And then joins. Joins is a very important concept, I can say. I believe joins is a kind of backbone for the complete SQL. We work on joins mostly in real time. So we have so many joins here. We will learn each and every join very detailedly by solving many examples. And as this is important concept only for joins, what I do after explaining some examples in class, I'll give you some assignment questions or some practice questions. I'll give some time like 1 week to 10 days. Whenever you get some time, just try to attempt that questions. It's just up to you. If you are interested, you can attempt that questions. And after that, whenever you are ready, I'll explain that solutions in the class so that you can check yourselves whether you can able to solve those questions or not. Okay. I'll apply this for only joins because that is important. Next, regular expression. Again, regular expressions is used to, pattern matching of the data only, just like operator. But we have so many anchors here. We can find patterns in so many ways by using regular expressions. Next, group by clause and having clause using aggregate function in group by clause. And then subqueries. We have so many types of subqueries like correlated, non-correlated, single row subquery, multi-row subquery. Detailing, we will learn everything. Next, normalization, denormalization, normal form. Usually we'll get data from client, it will be raw data, and that one we'll call it as denormalized data. Technically, I'll explain you later very detailing. But the process of converting raw data into a perfect database, we will use normal forms. Okay, that process, how we will convert. And I can say very confidently, if anyone is including this concept in their course, they will explain you only theory part. But here I'll take a raw data, I'll show you some sales data, and I'll show you step-by-step process of converting raw data into a perfect database. Okay. And then ER diagrams, views, indexes, all these are important concepts and advanced concepts like CTEs. This concept also very rarely you can find in the course content of other courses. I mean, in other institutes. Views, indexes, temporary tables, important. We can, if you wanted to remove duplicate data at a time, we will use temporary tables concept. CTE in the sense common table expression. Okay. We will use CTEs also, stored procedures, window functions. These are all advanced concepts. I will explain very detailedly going forward. Okay. We are almost, I exceeded the time. Okay. If you are okay, I'll end the session for now. And I'm explaining a bit quickly today because, I joined late and we have very less time. So tomorrow I'll explain a little bit slowly. Don't worry about it. And yeah, let's connect tomorrow. Tomorrow is also a demo class. Just get connected, use the same link, and I'll explain slowly about the remaining concepts tomorrow. Okay. I'm having one more session at 7 o'clock. Sorry for that. I'm just ending the session for now. And I hope whatever I explained today, that is clear for you guys, right? Thank you, Ben. Yeah. Yeah. Bye.